Barefoot Dreams blanket. It's kind of loud. I'm excited. Tomorrow is the day of my surgery, so I'm going to be doing an entire video. This is the day before, so like it's the boobs eve, so I have them, of course, all on display. Just kidding, but yeah, tomorrow I'm getting the boobs taken out. So if you've been following my story on Facebook, I'm going to just basically be doing like a rundown of everything that kind of happened, the complications that happened, because I have a lot of women who are thinking about getting them, or they were thinking about getting them, and they're just kind of curious to hear my story. So I'm excited to talk to you guys later, and if you have any questions, just post them in the video chat below. So I'm actually gonna go get my Diva light because I feel like the lighting's gonna be better. We're taking down the Christmas tree. I'm in this cute little onesie I got from Victoria's Secrets, and I'm gonna do the rest of this video for you guys. So my surgery is tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. so early, so I'm probably gonna go to bed a little bit earlier tonight. I am gonna have one last glass of champagne, but I do want to show you something. So over here, don't mind the shampoo, I have my lavender oil, and then right here I have a dry brush. I want to show you guys about the dry brushing because it's so important for your lymphatic system. So when you are doing something like this, when you're undergoing a toxin removal, it's really good to do dry brushing. So I'll do an entire video on that. You guys haven't seen Lord for a really long time. You scared me. You guys haven't seen Lord for a really long time either. So here he is. He's getting so big. Say hi, babe. So we're back. I'm gonna answer some of the questions you guys have about the fat transfer. So it's just been this has been such a crazy past. I think it's been about half a year since I started getting kind of ill. I started having symptoms that were really extreme of BII. So if you haven't followed my story yet on Facebook, I talk a lot about how I became really sick. I had panic attacks, severe depression, and I'm not the type of person to be depressed. I mean, you guys had seen my earlier videos. If you follow me on social, you'll know that I'm kind of like an upbeat person. I spend a lot of time on self-development, and so for me to come down with this weird, like, unexplainable depression, where I literally didn't feel like doing anything, was really odd. So basically what had happened was I started getting anxiety, panic attacks to the point where I couldn't leave the house. Like, I had vertigo where I felt like I was constantly spinning. I couldn't see straight. Driving became very difficult. Doing anything became very difficult. And so it was a really tough time. This was around like June, July, like May, June, July. This is when it started getting really bad. Like on my birthday, I felt super sick. Ended up coming home sleeping. I was sleeping so many hours. Like basically I couldn't really do a whole lot because going out would make me really tired. Even today, like we went to the mall today and I was so exhausted. Like I could barely function. I had to go get a shot of espresso, and even then I was so tired. It's a fatigue that you can't quite fully explain. I began having body flushing, body rashes. It was almost like I was going through menopause. I would have severe, heat flare-ups where I would get super hot, and then I'd get really cold to the point where I was just freezing and like shaking, even in the middle of summer. It was so odd. And then, yeah, I mean, there's just so many symptoms. I lost a lot of hair. So, yeah, it's been kind of sad. I might get extensions. I've been using a couple hair products to help, rebuild my hair, because it's just clumps of it coming out. Like in the shower, it's just every time I take a shower, it's just so much hair in the drain, and it's like I feel like I don't have much hair anymore. Like this is all the hair I have, and I used to have enough to put in like that is crazy. So it's been a really intense journey, and a really hard journey to come to terms with, because I had no idea what was going on with me. I was like, I feel so sick all the time. I would have random flare-ups where I couldn't eat certain foods. Everything seemed to be going wrong with my body. I couldn't quite figure it out. And I had a couple girlfriends who were like, it could be this, like you might want to look into this. And they were talking about breast implant illness, Well, of course I didn't want to believe it. I was like, don't want to believe it. You know, I love my boobs. I don't want to believe it. Not that I like really like love them, but I didn't want to believe it because I didn't want to take action on it. I was like, if this is really it, that's going to be an expensive surgery. It's going to be a lot of downtime. It's going to be me, you know, taking out these things that make me look, you know, a certain way, taking them out and maybe disfigured, you know, I may not have, good scarring afterwards. I may have like severe scarring afterwards. And so it was something where I mentally couldn't wrap my mind around it. And I know a bunch of women who are going through this are probably going through the same thing where, you know, they're scared and they have every right to be. And it doesn't help that a lot of men, like I'm very lucky that I'm in a relationship where my boyfriend's supportive of this surgery. He's coming with me tomorrow. But not many women, I can say not many women that I know who've gone through it, you know, it wasn't easy. They didn't have an easy time explaining this to their husbands or to doctors or to anybody. Like no one said it was a real thing. They're like, oh, you're just being crazy, you know, keep your implants. And when someone's going through something that's this toxic, like when you start doing the research on the implants and you start actually figuring out what's inside of these implants, and you know that that's in your body, like to not take them out would be stupid. It would just be stupid. Like, you know what's inside your body. It's poisoning you every day. I compare it to a water bottle like this. If you left this in your car for an entire summer in the blazing heat in Las Vegas, would you drink it? Chances are you wouldn't. Same thing's happening inside your body. The plastics leaching, the silicones leaching, and all those chemicals leach into your system. And so over time, you know, it starts to corrode. And we were told when we got these implants put in that the silicone's completely safe. You know, if it ever ruptures, it's just going to spill into the shell. No big deal. But do your research on it. Go on YouTube. Look at all the En Bloc capsulectomies where they literally turn it out and it's just all this like gooey, gunky, like it's liquid. And so when they say that it stays in the gummy bear form, it doesn't. It literally, like, you see there's certain videos of doctors holding it up and it's like stretching out like a slime, like a glue. And so like there's just not enough research on them to actually know, you know, the long-term effects. And so they were actually banned, I think it was 2008. You couldn't get implants. Like they took silicone off the market. It was only saline you could get. And so when they came back, I ended up getting silicone. So they said they were safe. They said they were completely different. They were more safe. And so I ended up getting the silicone thinking, oh, you know, like if doctors are saying they're safe, then, you know, there's a low chance that they're going to be toxic. There's a low chance that I'm going to have complications. And, you know, I went for 5 years without any complications. Like I had some minor stuff. I had one panic attack that was really bad shortly after getting them, which is so odd. I've never had anxiety before. I don't take any medicine for anxiety. I don't take any medicine for depression. And to have that come up out of nowhere, it was so weird. It was almost like my skin had these bubbles on it. It was like, I had never experienced that before. It was like I'd eaten something and I'd had these, like, this rash of bubbles. Like, it was like this, like, almost like pus bubbles, like a lupus type thing. It was so weird. And they were all over my legs and my arms. And I was like, this is so strange. You know, I didn't know where they came from. I was just like, this is very odd. And I noticed a weird metallic body odor shortly after getting my implants as well. So basically, after having that rash breakout, I started having heart palpitations, like super randomly. They'd come on at just at very random times, and my heart palpitations began, and it was really awful. Like, I remember my first panic attack. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, my heart was racing. I felt like I couldn't quite get a breath. I was like, felt like I was gonna die. I felt like I didn't know what was like, I felt out of control. And I remember I was in Target, and I had to go into my car and lock the doors and just like put my head on the steering wheel and try to just focus on the moment and let it pass. And after that, I was like, something's not right. And that's when I kind of knew that something had shifted and something was just not okay. So that was the first sign of what was to come. And then I went for years and years and years with my body being puffy. So like, I'm a naturally smaller person. I'm petite. Always been a size 0. After getting implants, I fluctuated up to a size 2. And I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying it was probably a lot of water weight. Well, I continued to gain weight despite working out. I was like still gaining weight. My face has been puffy ever since. Like I had started getting under eye circles. Like I've never had that before. I started having hormonal acne, which I had never had before. Even when I went into my facial lady this past week, she was like, you have hormonal acne, but your skin is so good, but like your acne is like in all the places where it's hormones. And I'm like, that makes sense because, you know, they go hand in hand. Well, I started getting puffiness. I started getting all sorts of weird stuff. Started the keto diet, literally flushed the water. The puffiness started to go away. I've been off ketones now for, it's been like, I don't know, 2 weeks now. So like I feel really puffy. My skin's swollen. I look like I have like a double chin, even though I don't. Like I'm puffy. Like I can just feel the water like everywhere. And so it sucks. So like you get these to look better in a swimsuit, but it ends up like some people end up gaining weight. In my journey, I ended up gaining weight. And so yes, like I feel like I don't have like as big as I wanted to go. Like my boobs, I mean, they're decent. They're pretty big. Like if you see them in a swimsuit, you're like, oh, she has big boobs. They're size D, and I can go between like a D and a double D, but I don't have the cleavage. Like I never had the cleavage I really wanted. And so it was kind of like, what was the point in me getting the breast augmentation if I didn't get the desired result I wanted? So basically, from there, I didn't really do a whole lot of research on the fat transfer that I'm going in for until tonight, this past week, because I didn't want to trip myself out, like getting over concerned about procedure. I didn't want to be stressed out about procedure and like what I was getting done. So I didn't want to look into it too much. And then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start looking into the fat transfer side of it. What they do is they lipo your thighs, you're lipoing your flanks, you're lipoing your stomach. And so you're lipoing and you're harvesting fat from these different areas, and they transfer that fat, they process it, and then they transfer that fat into the area that you took the implants out of. And so what that does is it gives it more of a natural look. It's going to last a lifetime, so there's no changing the implant out, which I wish I knew about this beforehand. Like my mom, we were like literally on the phone, and she's like, why didn't you just get the fat transfer, you know, years ago? Number one, I was young when I got my implants. I was young and like did not have a lot of money. So I figured, you know, implants, they're going to further my career. At the time I did a lot of modeling, lots of, you know, spokesperson stuff. So I was doing trade shows modeling, did a lot with, you know, being in bikinis basically. So it was like I needed to have that look, but I did not know, like first off, I didn't have the money to get a fat transfer because they're expensive. And second off, I didn't, I see all the subscribers coming through. But second off, I didn't do much research into it. I just figured everyone gets implants. All my friends have implants. I'm just going to get implants. And I paid a lot for my implants. And day of the procedure, he actually was going to put the wrong implants in my body. And I was signing the papers and I was reading it and it said saline. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I paid like $3,000 extra for silicone. So yo, bro, like what's going on? Like we gotta figure this out. And he was like, oh, let me go find some. Like this wasn't his office. I'm getting my explant done in her office, thank God. I always feel more confident doing my procedure in the office that they have, because you're not in this big hospital where they're not quite sure. Like I just don't, I like being on home turf. You know what I mean? Like if it was a football game, like you're on home turf. It's their place. They're comfortable with it. You go in, it's smaller. There's not like a million people, like a surgery center. It's their own place. So Basically, he went on a wild goose chase, found some random implants. I believe they're natural implants. So they are by Allergan, Allergan Natural, and they are silicone. So yeah, they were not the planned CC amount, thank God, because back then I really wanted a huge look. I was looking for, you know, the big, huge cleavage. I have a little bit of cleavage, it's not a ton, but I wanted the huge cleavage, high profile implant. And I ended up getting something completely different because he had switched it up, which was a blessing in disguise, because now explanting, I don't have a whole lot difference between my natural breast and the silicone. So when they pop them out, and I'll try and get some video footage or pictures or even take home the silicone so you guys can see, but when I got the silicone implant in, it wasn't a whole lot of silicone, so it didn't stretch my cavity or stretch my skin a whole lot, so my skin is more elastic and it will go back to its shape. So that's a good thing about getting small implants or having small implants and explanting, is that you don't have to worry so much about the sagging and getting a breast lift. I really didn't want to get a breast lift going into this because it's just, I don't like the look of the anchors. The scarring can be really bad, and it's expensive, it's a lot of downtime, and I just didn't feel like that was necessary. And so I was hoping and praying that I wouldn't need to get a lift. And she confirmed when I went in. I am going to a doctor here in Indiana. She was highly recommended. I absolutely felt so comfortable with her. She explained everything. She had my back on it. I felt like she really cared about the outcome, and she really cared about, you know, my well-being, my understanding, and she took the time to explain everything, and just absolutely amazing. And so she's going to harvest fat from my thigh area. I had to gain a little bit of weight for this, from my thigh area, from my stomach, from my flanks, and then inject it all in here in a grid pattern to create the look of a fuller bust. Now keep in mind, when you get this done, you do have to harvest more fat than like what's gonna actually hold. So it takes about half, like you get about half of the fat that you inject. So if you inject 400 cc's in each, it's gonna give you about 200 cc's in both implants. So that's kind of our plan, is to inject the 400. My boobs will look huge, but then in the following months, they're gonna go down a little bit, but the results last a lifetime. So I hope this answered some questions. I've had so many people sending me requests and just wanting me to talk about this. I do want to do like kind of a before and after. So I don't want to really necessarily show my results in that way, but I do kind of want to bring you guys through what's happening and kind of keep you up to date on what's happening. Some of the other weird side effects from getting my breast augmented were dry eyes, shaking, tremors, like almost like a seizure-like type thing, like random dry patches, like just so many weird, strange things would happen that were just so unexplainable, like upset stomach, like total Pepto-Bismol commercial style life, like where you're one moment you're throwing up, next moment you're having like diarrhea, like it's just like it's uncontrollable. Like I would be out with friends and I'd be like, I gotta go to the bathroom, like it was just awful. And so I'm so looking forward to health in 2019. I promised my body that I wouldn't do anything else to it that is going to be harmful. Really made a pact with my boyfriend. I was like, I want to start drinking lemon water every morning, cucumber water, taking care of myself, and like we're going to go through this journey together. And so it's just important to really realize that your body is such a precious thing, and you were designed, you know, to be the way you are. I'm all about the up level. I'm all about you looking and feeling your best and really putting your best foot forward, but not at the cost of your life, and not at the cost of, like, you can be so beautiful, but if you're laid up in bed and you can't do anything, what's the point in all that beauty? What's the point in looking so stunning if you don't have your health? And so my point of this video is to educate, but also to like let you guys know that, you know, beauty is not everything. It shouldn't come at the expense of something else. So if you're considering getting your breasts augmented, by all means, I'm not knocking it, but I'm just telling you that, you know, there are things to think about. There are complications to think about. Back when I got my boobs done, I was like, signed it away. I didn't really think fully through it. I was like, I just want to look a certain way. You know, it's for my career, it's for this and that. And I didn't really fully think it through like I should have. And going back and thinking back on it, I wish I did things differently. I wish I wasn't so stubborn. I wish I took the time to actually think it through and take more time on getting it done the way that it should be done. You know, I wish I asked more questions about options. I wish doctors weren't so pushy towards certain procedures because they're easy for the doctor to do. It's a lot harder to do lipo and spin the fat and process the fat and stick it back in and do the grafting. It takes a lot more time. But had I known about this procedure, I would have definitely gone with this procedure over boobs any day, over the implants any day. So what did I learn in 2018? Don't mess with the silicone, girls. And don't mess with like other things too. I mean, like birth control, things like that, like all that stuff can like really mess you up. So it's like always good to think twice before injecting anything into your body, before getting any procedures done, before getting anything put into your body. I've had a lot of girlfriends get sick off the Mirena. It's just, I mean, us women, we go through hell just to, you know, fit into society, and it's really, really sad. And I really just, my wish for 2019 is health for everybody, and for everyone to grow into self-love and to grow into self-care and to really find themselves and to find their passions and what makes them happy. And so I hope this video helped somebody. I hope that this reached somebody. Maybe you can share this video if this helped you. Definitely subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be putting out a lot more stuff on dating, level up advice, and just life advice in general. So I definitely want to do a home tour, like an office tour, in the coming weeks when I start feeling better. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next video.